Welcome everyone. We are here to give a presentation on syntax. Before that, please allow me to introduce ourselves. I am Chalisa Asila Kusuma and my friend.
Alina Shoramadeni. And before jumping into syntax, we first need to know what sentence is and how it relates to syntax. Next, the difference and correlation between sentence and syntax. Sentence is a complete and meaningful unit of language that typically expresses a thought, statement, question, comment, or exclamation. Sentences are formed according to the rules of syntax, but they also involve semantics or meaning, and pragmatics or contextual use. Syntax refers to the set of rules that govern the structure of sentences in a language. It focuses on how words and phrases are arranged to create well-formed and grammatically correct sentences. For many linguists, syntax is one of the most important fields of study because it is syntax that allows us to combine words into phrases and sentences in unique ways. Syntax is the study of sentence structure. In summary, sentence is the actual expressions of meaning, while syntax is the set of rules that govern how those sentences are constructed. Next. Here is a basic syntax tree representing the structure of a sentence. We're going to focus in on tree structures, and these are a really valuable thing that linguistics use to structurally represent what's going on in language. How do they organize words into phrases and sentences? And language differ in these rules in that respect. So if you want to draw a tree structure, draw it top down. The first thing is to put sentence up top. And a sentence is minimally consists of a noun phrase and a verb phrase. A noun phrase is always on the left side and a verb phrase is on the right side. In that order, so it's always useful to give yourself a lot of space when you're drawing these tree structures because things become cluttered down there. So the more space you give yourself up there, the easier it is down here. Then, like the given example, the sentence is the cat chased the mouse. The word the is a determiner in the noun phrase. Cat is a noun, and chase, it is moved in the verb phrase because it is a verb. The is a determiner, and mouse is a noun. So it is an example of representation, the structure of a sentence on a syntax tree. Next. Further explanation of the syntax tree. The first one is noun phrase. It is a group of words centered around a noun that functions as a subject, object, or complement within a sentence. It typically includes modifiers such as adjectives or determiners. The second is verb phrase. It is a group of words centered around a verb that expresses an action, occurrence, or state of being. It may also include auxiliary verbs, adverbs, or other elements that modify or complete the verb's meaning. The third is determiner. It is a word that precedes a noun and provides context or introduces specificity to the noun. Examples include articles like a, an, and the. Demonstratives like this, that, and possessive like my, your, and then quantifiers like some and many. Noun, it is a word that represents a person, place, thing, or idea. It serves as a subject or object in a sentence and can be modified by determiners and adjectives. And the last one is verb. It is a word that expresses an action, occurrence, or state of being. Verbs can show tense like past, present, and future, and then aspect like continuous and perfect, and then mood like indicative and subjunctive to convey different meanings in a sentence. Next.
Now we're gonna talk about some concepts related to syntax. There are deep structure, surface structure, recursion, and ambiguity. The first one is deep structure. Deep structure is basically what we think inside our heads. Let's make this simple. There's the example sentence, Alex hit Josh. The sentence is thought in our heads because we may have seen or witnessed such an event. Then, in our head, a reenactment of the event happens. It's very abstract, but the point remains the same, which is that someone called Alex hit someone called Josh. The scenario plays out in our head with the words that we're putting together that we want to say to the other person. In deep structure, the sentence is not yet delivered. In this concept, there's only the semantics of a sentence. The semantics are abstract and not tied to any sentence formation. Then, when will the sentence be conveyed and no longer just about semantics? The next one is surface structure. A sentence will be conveyed and no longer just semantics when it has reached surface structure. Here, the sentence has reached phonological formation. We express, convey, utter a sentence. A sentence comes out of our mouths. And in this case, we have several options to convey the situation to others. We can say it with Alex hits Josh, which is the simplest, or with Alex is hitting Josh, or with Alex was hit by Josh. What comes out of our mouths is the result of deep structure, the result of our thoughts that were previously so abstract because they were still semantic. So basically, surface structure is the phonological form of a sentence. And now there is an overview of the deep structure and surface structure. As you can see, it's more or less like that. The abstractness in our head is deep structure, while what we express is surface structure. And as an aside, surface structure is also about what the listener will hear. If we say, Alex is hitting Josh, then the listener will also hear the same thing, which is Alex is hitting Josh. There is no change at all, and it still contains the same essence. Next up is recursion. This actually means repetition. However, to our knowledge, in this material, recursion means something different. Recursion in this material is when we embed an additional sentence after the main sentence. This is not a mandatory thing. It doesn't have to be done all the time in a sentence. But if this is done, then a sentence will become longer, more detailed, more complex, and its meaning will become deeper. And always remember that this doesn't have to be done in a sentence. A sentence will not become bad or incorrect just because an extra sentence is not included. As example for recursion, we can look at this sentence. The sentence looks long, indeed, because it is embedded with additional sentences. And what is embedded still has a relationship with the original sentence. In this sentence, the main clause is the cat chased the mouse. Then there are two additional relative clauses, which are which was eaten by the snake and whose den was destroyed by the flood. This sentence is definitely longer, more detailed, more complex, and its meaning becomes deeper, not just about the cat chasing the mouse. And the last syntax concept is ambiguity. The essence of this concept is when a sentence has multiple meanings. The meaning of the sentence is not just one, but more than one. It can happen because the sentence is ambiguous, so people will catch it and understand it with different perspectives. For example, the sentence, I saw the man with the telescope, is quite ambiguous. Even in Indonesian, Aku melihat seorang pria dengan teleskop also sounds ambiguous. This sentence has two meanings. The first meaning is that the speaker or I used the telescope and saw a man. So the telescope was used by the speaker or I. While the second meaning is the opposite. The speaker or I saw the man using or carrying a telescope. So that's the material about syntax as we have studied and learned. What we have presented is what we have understood. We are essentially still learning, still need a lot of guidance. So we apologize if there are any differences or mistakes in the material we have conveyed to you.
We would also like to thank you very much for your time and attention to our presentation. This is where our presentation ends, and once again, thank you very much for your attention and time for us. Hopefully, what we have conveyed will be useful. And see you next time.